Hi, good morning guys, thanks for joining me. What I'd like to do in today's video is talk about navigation kits, and what I thought this video might do is just provide a little bit of insight into the kind of things which I like to carry, and for those of you which maybe think about making a navigation kit up, just to show you just a few of the things which I like to use. It's fair to say when it comes to navigation, I've always found it as important as what it is learning how to light fire. The last thing you want to do is get turned around and get lost, but also what it means then is once you can actually read a map and use a compass, is you can actually get off the beaten track and enjoy the deeper woodlands themselves. So if it is that you're into hiking, hunting, fishing, a little bit of wild camping and that kind of thing, just learning how to use a map and also learning how to use a compass is just going to make things a little bit easier for you and just make the whole experience just a little bit more enjoyable. So what I brought with me today, I've actually got two navigation kits. I've got a small pouch and a larger pouch. And with the smaller pouch, it's obviously got less items in it. And what I tend to do is just cross over some of the items, like I've only got one compass which I'd actually take out of this kit and just put in the larger kit if I wanted. Again, it's all down to money. You can actually buy, as many compasses as you want and fill in as many kits as you want. But, just to keep the cost down, just to swap things over as and when needed, it's just going to save on the cost itself. So, the small little pouch, this is perfect for day hikes. It also keeps in the haversack in the pocket of a rucksack. It's also perfect just for fitting in the pocket of a jacket. And then the larger item, obviously just containing a few more items, including a GPS. And again, if I'm going further afield, I'm not quite familiar with the territory where I am, then the GPS may come in handy alongside all the other things which are in the pouches. So we just start off with a small little kit out of the two, and I actually keep these in some pouches which I got from Amazon. Come from a company called Rough Enough, and you pay around about £8 to £9 for them, dependent on the size and dependent on the style. This is just a simple little pouch, got a single zipper here, 1000D Cordura, YKK zipper, and I've actually swapped out a little bit of cordage which come with this. I think it's red and white when I purchased it. I've just put a little bit of woodland camo paracord on it, and they do come with carabiners. I'm not too fussed about them. I'm not sure how reliable they'll be. Certainly with it being my navigation kit, I wouldn't hang it on the outside of my pack, just in case you lost it somewhere. I'd probably just keep this on my person, just making sure that I wouldn't lose it. Alongside all the items that are in your navigation kit, you're going to need some form of map. Now, I'm still pretty much old-fashioned in the way that I do like paper maps and I do like an analogue compass. I could carry these in digital format on my phone or in the GPS, but if anything was chat like they got flooded out or the batteries was to go, having it on paper form and using just a normal standard compass means I'm going to find my way home at the end of the day. So in conjunction with the map, we always like to use a reliable compass, and there's various different makes in the UK. One which I carry in this pouch here is a Rector DP6, so very similar to Sunto, very similar to Silver, certainly in price wise and also quality. Rector compasses are brilliant. In fact, they were actually brought out by Sunto a few years ago, and these are actually made in the Sunto factory over in Finland, and that's why sometimes you can see Sunto models which look very similar to Rector and vice versa. So the DP6, anywhere between £40 and £80 dependent on the model and dependent on the style, and it's what's referred to as a matchbox compass, just how that slides in and out. And the size of it when it's actually closed is 67mm by 45mm. It only weighs 55 grams, so again, a very lightweight compass. This one in particular is a sighting compass. You just tilt it out and a little mirror drops out from the bottom, unlike a lot of them where the mirror actually comes up from the top, which means then it couldn't actually be used for signalling and first aid if that's the way that you want to go. But again, for navigation, it's certainly one of the best which I've come across. Just on the back of the mirror itself, you've got a little scale there, so you can actually use it for different forms of orienteering. And you can also use it for measuring angles and the like. Just inside the compass there, if the camera will pick it up. We've just got a little clinometer there, so as that's being tilted, you can actually read off the angles, whether that's a slope, or if you want to just figure out the height of a tree, you could work out the angle. And again, reading the scale on the back here is going to tell you, that kind of information. So alongside the compass, once you know what direction you're going, it's always worth measuring how far that distance is going to be. So I just use a little bit of cordage, anything will do. I've had to use grass in the past and the likes, and that means then you can actually just bend that around a path or the contour line, whichever you're following, and then you can just measure that off and just figure out how far away it is that you need to travel. And once you know where you're going, how far away it is, you then need some form of being able to count that down, time it or pace it. So again, I carry a set of pace beads. Now these are cheap, you can just make these up. You can buy a bag of wooden beads from somewhere like Hobbycraft, a little piece of cordage, and you're pretty much set up. So I've got 9 beads on the bottom and I've gone with 5 on the top. A lot of people go with 4 on the top. And once you know how many paces it takes for you to complete 100 yards, you can actually count that off. So for argument's sake, if you needed to travel 500 yards, you just count up 5 beads and then you should have reached your destination. So alongside these items here, my eyesight's getting no better as I'm getting older. I always carry a Fresnel lens with me, so I can actually just look at the contours and any small little features which may be on the map. And again, if you wanted to use that to make a solar fire, it just means that you've actually got it at hand if need be. Inside the little wallet which comes with them, these Fresnel lenses you can pick up for 50-60 pence, they're not very expensive at all. They always carry a sheet of waterproof paper, again for writing down bearings, or any kind of features which you may find on a map which may be interesting, like water courses, areas of interest, whether it's food, hunting, or somewhere reliable to go catch fish. You can just write that down either it's on the map or just on the paper itself. So running alongside, your main compass, it's always worth carrying a backup compass. You may break it, you may lose it. And this is a little, what they call a clipper, very similar to a little button compass. This is made by Sunto. Again, rotational bezel on it, just like on the main compass itself. And it's fast, and it's also reliable. A little bit more expensive than your cheap button compasses. this is around about £8 to £9. But again, when it comes to navigation, what I'm looking for is reliability. Just a small little pencil for taking notes and, marking down routes and the likes, just on the map itself. And then just a small little light for nighttime navigation. Always go with a red light, just stops any kind of glare coming back off of the map, and then it's also just going to stop you from destroying any kind of night vision which you may have created over the night. And with this, you just push the two ends together and it just makes a little charge, and there we've got just a little red light if the camera will pick that up. It's perfect in low light conditions, and also night time like I mentioned, just for reading the map. And then the last thing in the kit itself is a little rover scale. This is from Silver, and again you can just use that for measuring your distances. If it was you needed to figure out where you're actually standing as a grid reference, you can actually just put this over the top, and instead of working your way down and counting your way up, you can just actually figure it out just by using the scale itself. So it's fair to say with that small little navigation kit which we just run through, we could actually go through the 4Ds of navigation quite easily, and that's sorting out the direction of travel, the distance, the destination, and also the detail on the map itself. But during the summertime and when that weather gets nicer, we'll like to travel further afield, perhaps travelling up to Scotland or the Lake District and just getting out into a little bit more of a wilderness area, compared to what I'm used to down here in the woods. I pretty much know these woods like the back of my hand anyway. But saying that, these are the perfect locations for practicing navigation. You could also just see, on the mappers and compass, if that's where you're standing, are you actually standing there? And if it is that you use the compass, just making sure that you reach your final destination. So practicing in woodlands which you're familiar with, is probably the way to go. So we're just going to run through the main items of the kit. Like I mentioned, I do swap items out from time to time just to save on cost. But this is my main navigation kit, and if I do go on any bigger trips, this is what comes with me. So we just start off in the main compartment of the pouch, and like I mentioned, I do swap things out from time to time just to save on the cost. So the compass which have come with me is the same which have just come out of the little pouch there, which is the Rector DP6. So in conjunction with the compass for navigation, certainly in unfamiliar territories, I will take a GPS. Now, I'm not a heavy GPS user in the fact that I'll plot the whole route in and follow it step by step. I use it more in conjunction, just with the map, just by turning it on, finding the grid reference, and then using the compass itself just to work out which way I'm going. Again, that's just going to save on the battery life, but also learning and just using the compass just means it's fresh in your mind for whenever it is that you need to use it. And again, for the emergency situation, you could actually use a GPS if you need to get mountain rescue in. You could actually just turn the GPS on, get the grid reference, and it's going to be quicker than actually using the map, figuring out where you're standing by doing a back bane or a reverse azimuth or whatever it may be, and that way then aid will be at hand a lot quicker. Unlike the other little kit where I carry just a single piece of paper, with the larger pouch actually you can afford to carry a larger notepad. Now these all-weather notepads are absolutely brilliant. These aren't the Right in the Rain. I've actually picked 5 of these up on Amazon for £10. A little bit smaller, the paper seems to be the same kind of quality, so for the price, they're a good buy. So in this notepad, I'd write various bits of information down regarding the navigation, things like pace counts. I'm certainly not going to remember all this off by the top of my head, so things like flat ground, uphill, downhill, uneven ground, wooded areas or the likes. And I've actually done this with a £30 pack, whether it's 100 yards or 100 metres, whatever scale it is that you're measuring in, that's entirely up to yourself. And then you can also put other little bits of information, things like terminology, back bearings, reverse azimuths, just things that there's a good chance of forgetting under a stressful situation. If you wanted to, you could actually completely write out how to navigate. I've just actually written this in just to show you, and just mention just a few of the things which you could actually write in it. And again, just using it in conjunction with your map. If there's any interesting features, like I say, a little bit of fishing, a little bit of hunting, your water sources, a food source and that, you can actually write just the map number down, your grid reference, and it's always there, for a future date, and it's always at hand. So that's just the little main compartment done. So we've just got the little zipper just on the side here, just for smaller items. And what I've got on this is obviously something to write with. Again, you know, just so I can write on the map or write in the pad itself. It's just a pencil. Another set of paste beads, you know, for the cost of these, you know, it's worth just having them in both kits instead of swapping and changing them over. Unlike the other kit, where I've just got that little button compass or that little clip-on compass. This is made by Victorinox. I think this actually came in one of the Victorian knives which I brought years ago. And what we got is a compass, a magnifying glass, and also a thermometer. So again, you know, if you want to try this up in your camp, you can actually just see what the temperature is. The magnifying glass is powerful enough, certainly if you've got charred cloth and that kind of thing, to make an ember, and the compass itself again is very reliable. This one has got a big bubble in it, if the camera will pick that up. It's no fault of the compass. There's actually another little red circle just in the centre there, and you can actually use that as a little spirit level. And then what I do is I just put a little bit of cord through it, you just tie a knot in it, and then you can actually just hang that up just in your shelter, like I said, if you wanted to use the thermometer. But again, you know, using it as a measuring device, just pulling the cordage out, measuring your route on the map, and then you can actually just measure it just alongside the rule, just on the side of this little scale here, and you can figure out just the distance, and then you could work out how many paces it's going to take you to get there. And then probably just the last thing in here is just a 6-inch glow stick. A couple of different reasons. One, for nighttime navigation, again, you could just use it just to be able to see the features and the contours and wherever you're going on the map. You could use it as a buzzsaw if you've used it with your GPS and you need, you know, air ambulance or air rescue, just so they can locate you a lot quicker. But also you could actually just clip this on the back of your rucksack, and then if there's a group of you walking at night, it just means that everyone can see each other just as you're walking through the route, you know, without any chance of losing each other. So there we have it, that's the kind of things we should carry in my navigation kit. You know, I thought it may be some use of you which may be starting off and perhaps wanting to build a navigation kit. Certainly now the weather's picking up, you know, summer's just around the corner, and it just means then that you can get out, get off the beaten track, you know, without any fear of actually getting lost. So like always guys, I just leave me to say thanks a lot for you stopping by and watching the video. Like always, until next time, you take care, and I'll see you again.